Hi guys, what's going on? My name is Mr. Iveco, and in today's video I just wanted to give you a keys to using a scout rifle video for people who use a scout rifle and want some tips and tricks on how to use it, or if you're new to scout rifles or want to pick up a scout rifle and start using one. So okay, let's get straight to it. So the basics of using a scout rifle are they're medium to long range weapons, good for taking on Fawn or Last Word users at long range. You think they're going to pop you from range if you're good with them. And also for taking on snipers is a pretty effective counter to snipers, unless they're using final round, which you usually don't when they're fighting that. So right, let's get straight to what scout rifle's best for you. And literally, there is a scout rifle for every playstyle. If you play passive and campy like I do, I'd say go for the Scholar / maybe a Galleon's Demise, because at the moment I'd probably swing more to the Scholar, because the Galleon's does have that little bit of recoil, which is pretty irritating. But it's entirely up to you. If you play more of a passive aggressive, so you are shotgunning a little bit but you still keep a little bit of range between you and your opponent, I'd suggest using something like the Fang of EU or maybe classic Crusader 1 if you've kept that around as a scout rifle. To be honest, a lot of the new scout rifles fit into what I deem the aggressive playstyle, so you're up in your face, even though I don't recommend scout rifles for this. It's when you're up in the face of the enemy shotgunning and then you need a second weapon to pull out if you're going to try and run out of ammo on your shotgun, that type of thing. So these will be scout rifles like the Salvation State or the Deadshot Luna, or the other one that I can't think to right now in my head, but anyway. So what are the important stats on the scout rifle? So on scout rifles you have to be looking for impact, range and stability. The impact's pretty self-explanatory. You want the scout rifle to hit as hard as possible and do the most damage with every shot, especially if you're using the passive archetype of scout rifles like the Galleon's Demise and the Scholar, because I mean you've got a small amount of shots to kill an enemy before they start firing back, so you want the most impact. Range is definitely an important factor, as they are medium to long range weapons, so you're definitely going to want to be able to have that range advantage to make sure that you get the maximum amount of damage when you're attacking your opponent. And obviously if you're attacking at the medium to long range, you're definitely going to need stability, because I mean if you're shooting at long range and you can't control your gun, you're not going to get any of your shots off, or any of your target shots going to hit the mark, and you're obviously going to get killed. So for secondary stats, there's not many that apply. The only real one that I'd go into is aim assistance, and that is literally, it helps if you're using a scout rifle. If you shoot from the side of their head just slightly to the right, not on their head, usually you'll have that aim assistance will actually keep that counting as a headshot. It's pretty crappy at times. I've been on the bad end of it before, but it's the way the game goes. If you're interested in looking up the statistics of specific scout rifles, definitely go over to Planet Destiny, where they have the armory, where they have a nice list of weapon stats, primary stats and secondary stats. I'll leave the link in the description for them. Right, so what perk rolls do you want on your scout rifle? So what are the perfect perks? Now, to be honest, I don't think there's a perfect perk set. There's not one that I can say, right, this is the Moab of perks, this must be the perks you use, because like with a shotgun it'd be knee pads and aggressive ballistics and possibly like shot package or that type of thing. But with a scout rifle it really doesn't matter. See, for your first tree, it doesn't really matter on scopes. It's really up to you on what you feel comfortable with scope wise, so roll it and see what you think on those. Personally, and a lot of the time on scout rifles, this first tree perk that I would use would definitely be full auto, and possibly hidden hand, because with full auto it literally means you can hold RT and get a constant rate of fire, which personally for a scout rifle user it makes it easier to just hold RT and be able to click my aim, rather than having to multitask of clicking RT and then moving the stick. Excuse me. And the second first tree perk I'd probably go for is hidden hand. So if you've got a scout rifle like the Deadshot Luna or the Salvation State, which might not have the best aim assistance, with hidden hand, if you're up in their face and you're firing that gun obviously really fast, then you've got better chance of you hitting the mark sometimes when your shots go off. Okay, so for the second tree, or the mid tree of the 3 perks, I would have to say there's only 2 real perks that would go for me, and those would be either high caliber rounds or explosive rounds. Now, I don't really consider anything like small bore or casket mag or anything in these, because the modification you can get from the rounds can be such a game changer. So, what does high caliber rounds do? So high caliber rounds are quite literally, they when you shoot someone, it sends their aim flying up. So if you're coming against a sniper that's pissing you off, he's constantly sniping you, if you can get the first shot on him, you can send his aim flying up, which you can then start finishing him off with the preceding shots that obviously you can do, that you put his aim off with, so he can't get his headshot back on target. And in terms of explosive rounds, obviously when they hit their mark, it's really distracting. If you've ever been hit by explosive rounds, it basically flashes on your screen, in front of your screen. It's really off-putting, especially if you're going against snipers again, or just generally people when the explosive rounds hit. They also have the bonus that if someone is right next to them or nearby, then obviously they're going to be affected by the explosive rounds, as it will do a little bit of damage to them. And yeah. Basically, what you want with a scout rifle is you need to have a set of rounds that is extremely off-putting when you shoot. Because if you're coming up someone against Fawn that's trying to 2-tap you, or a sniper rifle that's trying to get a 1-bang on you, you quite literally need to do something to put their aim off or distract them. And usually using high caliber rounds or explosive rounds is the way to go. So, for the third tier, I have 3 perks that I'd choose. They would be Hidden Hand, if you don't get it on the first bit, and Third Eye or Reactive Reload. So Hidden Hand I've already explained about, so I'm not going to go over that again. Third Eye is good for if you are constantly aiming down sight, having the radar to see whether or not someone's sneaking up behind you to blink shotgun you, or to give you a cut fusion rifle in the back, or just a teabag is always a good thing, unless you're a hunter and you're using God, can't even think of the helmet now, but that helmet that gives you radar while you're aiming down sights. And then having reactive reload, so you'll see it in this video with the Scholar. Sometimes when you get after a precision kill, when you reload, it boosts your damage. Now this can be monumental in a fight. If you're low on health and you're in the middle of an engagement with an enemy and you manage to get off a reactive reload, especially with the Scholar, the damage goes from 70 to 90. Which, to put in terms like this, if you're a Fawn user, when you headshot, it's around about 85 damage. So with a reactive reload, the Scholar actually does more damage and can 2-tap someone in the head, which is pretty much insane. So that would be the perk rolls for me. So, finally, what is the best starting scout rifle? What if you're just introducing yourself to it, and what you want to use, or what I think you should use to be the best starting scout rifle? Now for me, it would have to be the Fanger VU. If you're just starting off and you want to get into scout rifles, this is your go-to weapon. Now you can obtain it from Crota's End Raid. I think you can get it from normal or hard, defeating Crota himself. I've got it tons of times. Now, why do I recommend it? Okay, the scopes are pretty much the best scopes for me. They're the ones I use the most, and they're the most helpful in most situations. They're pretty much multi-row scopes. It comes with the first perk of Third Eye, which is one of the recommended perks that I had, which basically lets you see the radar even when you're ADSing, which is obviously helpful because with a scout rifle you're going to be ADSing on a regular. So with the middle perk it comes with is comes with high caliber rounds, extended mag, and for some reason now I can't even remember what the middle perk is. Now personally, it's stability. So it would definitely be high caliber rounds or extended mag for me, because the Fanger VU's base stability is really, really high, so I don't see any problems with recoil or any issues along those lines. Then it obviously comes with the Crota perk, which really isn't necessary. But I'd definitely say that would be the best thing to use if you're just starting out with scout rifles. So finally, I'm just going to go over a couple of armor pieces now that I find would be extremely helpful with the scout rifles. So on the Hunter, it would definitely be the Radiant Dance Machines. I mean, if you can get a Hunter with max agility and you can do that with, if you got a meter multi-tool. If you combine a meter multi-tool and radiant dance machines, you can be so irritating, which, if you can get your enemy off game by constantly irritating them by strafing them with the scout rifle, is never a bad thing. So also the hunter's helmet, which gives you radar when you're aiming down sights. I apologize for not knowing the name, probably going to get slated for this, but yeah, tough stuff. And then I don't think there's really any other helmets that, or armor really, that help scout rifle, apart from, if obviously you can get armor which gives you scout rifle loader, or maybe extra scout rifle ammo from a chest piece, which definitely is going to help. So yeah, I think that's going to pretty much wrap it up about for here from me. Just to sum it up, this has been a guide on scout rifles. I'll give you my top 5 scout rifles that I personally use and that I like. So number 1 for me, my number 1 scout rifle at the moment has to be the Scholar. I mean, in terms of scout rifles, for me, it has to be my favourite, and it is, quite frankly, the best at the moment. Number 2, I'd have to say, would be the Fang VU, because it's such a balanced scout rifle I can go to on a regular basis. Number 3 would be the Scholar, which was just, which you can't obtain now, but if you do have it in your vault, I'd definitely go back and use it, because it's a really balanced scout rifle, and it's good for people just getting into it. Number 4 would have to be the meter multi-tool, especially if I'm using my Titan and I've got a lackluster agility. I can boost my agility, and also it has the hidden perk of high caliber rounds, which not many people know, which makes it perfect for dealing with snipers who become problematic. And my 5th and final one, even though I don't use it too much, would have to be the NAD31 Salvation Stain. Because with the role I've got of full auto, third eye, and high caliber rounds, it's just amazingly helpful, especially when I'm pushing and being extremely aggressive with my Titan. I find it to be a real godsend at times, because you can put people's aims off, you can see where people are on the radar when they're coming at you or trying to sneak behind you, and yeah, it's just an all-around really helpful scout rifle, and it's really good if you play aggressive, because the rapid rate of fire can, well, it can pretty much bail you out. I've had it beat people who have been using last words before, which is a pretty awesome feeling, and if you're on the other end of it, not a nice feeling. Right, so that's pretty much been my summary of the scout rifles, guys. I'm going to be doing a small YouTube series covering each of the primary weapons, and if we get enough likes or subscribes or people actually enjoy this series, I'll cover secondaries and heavies and what I recommend for them. But please, please give this video a like, give it a share, give me a subscribe. Follow me on Twitter, follow me on Facebook, all of that shebang. Follow me on Twitch. I do stream regularly every day, regularly in the week, so yeah, be sure to check that out. Thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate the views, and this is Mr. Iveco signing off. Peace.